219-845-1100. If you want to talk to George Van Til, you can go to Pete on line 1. Hey, Pete.
Hey, Don. George,
Yeah.
People in unincorporated area already pay the clean water fee. Is
Right.
this going to be on top of that?
Oh, sure. But the people in every city and town almost pay a clean water fee, and it's going to be on top of that. Yeah.
Now,
go ahead.
Well, let me ask you this. What about Crete, Illinois? I mean, they dump a ton of water in Harts Ditch, as you know, and they're not paying anything. And the people in the area east of 65, they're not going to pay anything.
Yeah, that was changed. They are going to pay.
Okay, good.
But in terms of Illinois, yeah, that's one of the 36 square miles, 37 square miles of water, dumps right in into a funnel that goes into Dyer, that comes up north towards the river and towards Munster and Highland. Absolutely, but that's another state, and that's hard to deal with. Even though it's not. If it was totally fair, I mean, I'd have Porter County paying too. But politically, I guess that's not realistic, so they're not even trying to do that. And there are some who say east of I-65 shouldn't pay because the water hits the Little Calumet River and goes east, not west. And so there's an argument from Hobart, and Maryville's in the same situation, that says we shouldn't pay. And everybody's got a different idea about this. And it's but the good thing is, and the reality of it is, $45. I waste a lot of times. I waste $45, on this or that, and this $45 is going to go for a good cause. Should it be a little less? Should it be handled a little different? Yeah, probably, but it's going for a good cause. And by the way, if you live in unincorporated, we're the only people in the state that I know of that we have lowered. Of course, you don't read about this in the paper. We've lowered the fee now twice in 3 years. We're down to $30-some a year. For instance,
hold on a second. Is that right on your house, there, Pete? 30 cents.
Yes. No, he's right. Yes, he's correct.
What was it before?
It wasn't
a lot more.
No, it was 40 something, but it's about 40, 45. Let me give you an example of difference. Jed, you live in Munster, you pay $120 a year. But if you live in unincorporated that I'm in charge of, you pay 30 some. In the low 30s.
That's a clean water. What is it?
It's mandated. It's called MS4. It's a water quality. It's a mandated federal operation, which we try to use when we're clearing creeks and drains and ditches. We use it for sediment removal, things like that.
I thought that was your responsibility, Hart Ditch, not the Little Calumet's responsibility.
It gets complicated. Hart Ditch, the reality of it is, except that it is good. Is that the Hart Ditch itself is not. It's not a regulated drain. Starting from the Dyer-Munster line, okay, coming north, it's not a regulated drain. Everything that goes into that, the Schoon Ditch, the Katy Ditch, the Schilling, the Dyer, Plum Creek, all of that, that's all mine. And that's all the drainage board. But it's an anomaly. And we're working with the town of Munster. We started this like 10 years ago. As soon as this weather gets a little better, within days, we've got trucks out there to do our next segment of work with the town of Munster. They pay 60, we pay 40. This is in the Fran-Lynn 45th Street area. It's shoring up the banks. We've been doing this quietly for years. We spent over $1 million of county money, and meanwhile, the town of Munster has spent way over $1.5 million. When it gets fixed up, we'll take it over. They'll petition us, and they go through a process. They'll petition us at the county level, and we'll take it over. And so, but here's the thing: I'm not going to quibble with if the Little Calumet River Basin Commission wants to get involved in the reaches of the Little Calumet, what comes into it, fine, because there's never ever enough drainage money.
Okay,
Never,
but here's
ever.
the issue. Um, the Hart Ditch, by the way, if you guys don't know where that is on the west end of Wicker Park at its very north, and then it kind of winds between Munster and Highland, then it goes up into Dyer. But it brings a ton of water from South County. It actually essentially brings water from
Yeah,
Creek,
not so
from
much from
Dyer.
South County,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
it's more from Illinois
yeah, Dyer and
and Cherville,
Illinois and
Cherville.
Cherville and those parts, and it brings a ton of water this way.
Mhm.
And it's a big deal because it's the biggest contributing factor to a lot of water in the Little Calumet River. So I'm a little confused because you're saying that Hart Ditch from basically Main Street on north, which would be
That's correct. That's correct.
is not a regulated drain,
That's
and you're
correct.
only to concern yourself with regulated drains.
Right.
And the Little Calumet people are like, well, we're only supposed to do the Little Calumet River, so that section of Hart Ditch, which is quite frankly
There you go.
carries more water than the Little Cal when after it rains, and you don't have to measure it. I already know because I go over there and you've seen it
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
It has
Absolutely.
more water. You have a big river going to a little river. So who's essentially in charge of that?
Munster and parts of it Highland. That are, it's Highland is on one side of it. Yeah, it's the municipals.
It's the municipals.
Look.
So you have the Little Cal, you have the Lake County Surveyor, and then you have Munster and Highland all kind of working on this part.
But even more importantly, a lot of drainage issues are who contributes to the water that's in there. So it's not so much a question of where the Hart Ditch is, but we've improved it significantly over the years because we're in charge of what comes in. People said, well, all that Illinois water is causing flooding in Munster and Highland. No, it's not actually, because when a whole lot of water came from in a short period of time came from Illinois, it flooded Dyer. And the hospital, $25 million worth of damage in the hospital, the Barons Minaldi subdivision, and Briar Ridge too. So Dyer acted as a retention basin, and saved you folks in Munster from getting flooded that time, because the water before it got to Munster, it overflowed the banks, and it went to the low spots in
There
Dyer.
was some sort of backup, right? I mean, it wasn't fully cleaned out or something.
No, it wasn't a backup. It just came so fast. There wasn't an ability for it to flow up to where it's supposed to go, north to the Little Calumet River.